Okay, May 19th, Transportation Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk call the roll, please?
Chairwoman Boyce.
Here.
Mr. Colby is excused. Mrs. Draw.
Here.
Mr. Gamble. Mr. Lightfoot.
Here.
Mrs. Stick.
Here.
Mrs. Taylor.
Here.
President Adair.
Here.
Okay. Is there anybody signed up for the public forum?
There is not.
Is anybody present that would like to talk in front of the public forum? No. Seeing none, the public forum is now closed. The minutes before you, there are minutes before you for the last Transportation Committee, and that would be from the April 28th committee. They'll stand as approved unless somebody contacts the clerk at the end of the day. New business, please. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a presentation from, with regards to the 2016-2021 Capital Improvement Program. Paul Johnson, the Associate Planner from Planning and Development Department, will give us a brief overview with regards to the Transportation Committee. Mr. Johnson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Everyone should have a copy of the County Executive's recommended 2016 to 2021 Capital Improvement Program. This program has been reviewed and recommended by the Monroe County Planning Board, and they did hold one public information meeting as part of their review process. As is always the case with our 6-year plan, there are no funding approvals associated with the Legislature's action on the Capital Improvement Program. The first opportunity to fund projects will come in the capital budget, which is submitted in the fall along with the operating budget, and would include the projects that are in the 2016 year of this 6-year program. I want to go over just very briefly 2 sections of the CIP. The first one will be highways and bridges, which you'll find on page 55 of the document. Overall, the funding for this portion of the program is up about 10% over our last 6-year effort. As is typical with some of the highway projects, the funding and scheduling tends to shift from year to year depending on availability of state and federal funds and changing priorities for bridge and highway projects. There are 4 new projects in this 6-year period. Lake Road 2 from Bay Road to Pellet Road, scheduled for 2017 to 2020. Hinchy Road from Pixley Road to Chili Avenue, scheduled in 2020 and 2021. New bridge project, the Clarkson-Parma Town Line Road Bridge over Otis Creek in 2021. And 1 new city street project, the first phase of Genesee Street, again in the city of Rochester. The other section I would call your attention would be the traffic engineering portion of the program on page 66. Total funding for this 6-year effort is just up slightly, about 2.5% over our last 6-year effort. 1 project has had a minor change in cost. The Regional Traffic Operations Center Rehabilitation Project, because of the availability of some additional federal funds, is up a total of $10,000 in 2016. And there is 1 new project, the Intelligent Transportation System Upgrade, scheduled in 2016, taking advantage of some available federal funds for that effort. And that, Madam Chair, concludes my presentation. We'd be happy to answer questions when we get to this item on the agenda.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. Appreciate that. All right, so we'll move to new business. Madam Clerk.
Referral 15-0156 to
Moved by Mrs. Taylor, seconded by Mrs. Draw. Any question with regards to any of the capital improvement project listed under the transportation portion of the capital improvement? Yes, Mrs. Draw.
Through you, Madam Chairwoman, to the administration. I know that there's a rating system that specifically is done for specifically some of the bridges. And I wondered if you could just tell me a little bit more in detail how that is actually, how that system, how the bridges are rated.
Through you, Madam Chair, the state goes out and hires a consultant or does themselves, inspects our bridges every 2 years. So any county bridge, any public bridge is inspected by the state or usually by a consultant every 2 years. And that gives you a condition rating anywhere from 1 to 7, with 7 being the newest. Well, I guess it could go to 0, but we hopefully don't go down that far before we have to replace it. So, I mean, most of ours are in range of somewhere 4.5 to 7. And when we decide on what bridges are going to be done, we look at what the inspection reports that they have done, meaning the consultant, as well as we ourselves, my staff goes out every 4 years and looks at all our bridges and our major culverts and reviews the inspection reports of the consultant, as well as we look at things ourselves to see if things can be maintained, or does something reach the point where it needs to be some more of a major rehabilitation or replacement, and that's when it comes into the capital program, either as a culvert replacement or as a bridge.
Thank you. Mrs. Taylor, did you have a question? Yes, Mrs. Stick.
Administration, I have a question regarding the culvert replacement program on page 58. Last year, the CIP had a budget of $1.4 million and $1.5 million for 2017. This year, it's changed to 2.1 and 1.85 for 2017. Can you tell me the increase? What is this due to additional projects?
Through the chair, most definitely. I see a need for additional culvert money to maintain, replace, rehabilitate our culverts, and in this case, it's rehabilitation or relining, such as, or a replacement. And fortunately, the administration has concurred, and we have gotten some more. We've been successful putting some more money in for some additional projects, so we get more culverts done in a given year.
Okay. And one more question, Madam Chairwoman.
Yes.
It's concerning the Regional Traffic Operations Center on page 68. Can you explain to me the difference in funding from last year's CIP? For example, the state would be funding $62,000 in 2016, and this year the funding is 0. Last year the county said it would be funding $20,000, and this year it's saying it's going to be funding $84,000. Can you explain to me the changes?
Through the chair, for this type of funding for the Regional Traffic Operations Center, we can get federal funding, which is the 80%, but the 20% of which many projects we anticipate getting some state funding of 75% of the 20 or 15%. But for this project, the state has said that we would not get any state funding for that.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a couple of questions myself, through the chair. No, can you give me a little bit more information with regards to, I see for the the traffic sign retroflectivity upgrade. Can you tell me, is there going to be any new types of signs that are going to be introduced in the coming years that we may have not seen on the roads before? Just based on the fact that, I've been to a lot of other states lately and over to Europe, and, there's always new things that might come up, but I'm just wondering.
Well, I guess in terms of, that's not really what this project is. In terms of new signs, I mean, if a condition exists or comes up that we think we need to have some type of different sign that may or may not be in the manual, and we have to talk to the state and the feds about putting something in, that's something that we could always explore. This project is really to upgrade, continuing our program that we've been doing for several years now. I think we started in 2010 or 11.
Okay.
Upgrading all in the city of Rochester, as well as for county roads in the county, all of our regulatory and warning signs to higher reflectivity material. We've probably in the end, it'll be about 95% of them, about 10% or 5% met the new guidelines, and we'll be replacing the other 95%. By the end of, by sometime in 2016, we hope to be done with all the regulatory and warning signs throughout the county.
Okay.
So that's all the yellow signs and the white signs and the stop signs and the white and black signs, things like that. Then the other part of this program is the street name signs that you see, whether it be on county roads or city streets. And we will be continuing to, there's many more of them. There's about 55,000 of those out there. And we'll be continuing into, we anticipate through 2019 before we will finish changing all the street name signs throughout the county and city. We hope to be done with the county in 2016, and then 17-18 we'll finish the city.
Okay, thank you.
And that, I'll just add on,
Okay, sure.
that the street name signs, besides being the higher reflective material, they also are changing the font from where it used to be all the block uppercase letters, if you think back to when we were in school, grade school, and now you'll see upper and lowercase letters, and people have determined that they are easily more readable for drivers, especially older drivers, and they can differentiate the name of the street better. The other thing you'll be seeing on county roads, at least for the side streets, is you're coming upon, if you're on a major street and you're going to come up to a minor street, and the street name sign, you will see the first letter, and the size of the letters will be greater. They'll be 6 inches, and where the new ones or the older ones were all 4-inch letters. And now we'll have a 6-inch uppercase letter followed by a 4.5-inch lowercase letter. So not all the signs will be that size. Like in the city, we do not have to do it because it's 30-mile-an-hour speed, and you don't have to do it for those. But we will be, we're doing it on many of the streets on the county roads as well as some city streets. But if you come to a stop, you will not have to have the larger because you're already stopping. So even though you could, and they would like you to do 6-inch, because they're coming to a stop, I made an engineering judgment and to save on size and expenses and things like that. You're already coming to a stop, so the 4-inch letters is fine. But as you're driving down the road at night, you should be able to see those signs better eventually, if you can't now.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. It was quite educational. Any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Next item on the agenda.
Referral 15-0162.
Moved by legislator Draw, seconded by legislator Taylor. Any questions with regards to this? Yes, Mr. Lightfoot.
To you, Madam Chair, and to the administration. Regarding this legislation, how long of the distance does this job entail, of the street that we're in, the area that we're in? How long is the distance, and maybe how wide is it, to get an idea of how big the job is, other than the other materials that's being listed here? To you, Madam Chair, to the administration. Do you know?
Through the chair, I don't have a specific distance. It's we're replacing a culvert. So it's maybe the total length of the job, and I'm estimating now maybe 150 feet when you taper in at either end with some work, but then the culvert itself is only, say, 15 feet wide or long.
All right. Through you, Mr. Thank you for that. So, is it possible to send over maybe not a whole plan, but maybe a site plan, so I can get an idea of what this is?
To the chair, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through the chair.
Through the chair, I'm looking on a plan view that I have and it's about, the total length is about 200 feet. From where the pavement work will start to where it will end. And then, as I said, the culvert itself is about 20 feet wide.
Thank you.
I can show you a sketch afterwards if you'd like.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
To the administration. Is this contractor Winsun Construction? Is this someone new doing business with, or have we done business with them before quite often?
Through the chair, no, they are not new. They've been in business for 25, 26 years, and they've done several bridges and culverts for us over the years.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, thank you, whoever.
Thank you. Thank you to all,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, whoever needs to be thanked, thanks.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Lightfoot, for the
Yeah.
question. All right. I guess any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Next item on the agenda.
Referral 15-0163,
Moved by Mrs. Taylor, second by Mrs. Draw. Are there any questions with regards to this? Yes, Mr. Lightfoot.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, Madam Chair, again, do we have any idea of how big this job is, as in the distance of what we're asking?
Through the chair, again, this is a culvert, which the predominant amount of work will be replacing the culvert, which is there about 20 foot along the roadway in width, and then there's work outside of the road itself to the north and south side, or east and west side, excuse me. But where we're also doing some minor road work, the total length of it might be in the, it looks like about 400 feet.
Thank you.
I guess follow-up question. I guess, are you trying to get like a basic cost per foot or something on a culvert project, or like what the average is? I mean, is there an average? I mean, I don't know.
Madam Chair, well, it depends on what the size of the culvert is and how big the culvert is that's going in. The length from a culvert project, the length of the road work really isn't germane for the cost of the culvert work itself.
Okay.
But I'll answer any questions. I'll try to answer any questions the legislator has.
Okay.
I have no further questions.
Okay. All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Next item on the agenda, please.
referral 15-0164,
Moved by Mrs. Draw, second by Mrs. Taylor. Any questions with regards to this quote? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed?
referral 15-0165,
Moved by Mrs. Taylor, second by Mrs. Draw. Any questions with regards to this project? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Next item on the agenda.
referral 15-0166, authorize the acquisition of interest.
Moved by Ms. Draw, second by Mrs. Taylor. Any questions with regards to this item on the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor?
Okay.
I'm sorry, no.
Legislator Taylor had a question.
I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand, Mrs. Taylor. Please. Yes.
Through the chair, there's existing traffic signals at two entrances to the school. That's where as you know, that's where Athena is, and we need to have easements at those locations so we can go in. We have agreements with the school, but to maintain the signals and operate them, but we need easements to be able to go on private property and maintain the signal devices.
Any further questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Are there any other, anything else to come before the committee at this time? Seeing none, we'll adjourn the May 19th meeting of the Transportation Committee, and it'll stand adjourned. And the next meeting of the Transportation Committee is June 23rd at 5 p.m.